Greetings, all you Metamaniacs. This is TMoney G, here with Goodol'Maurice to talk to you today about the Geonesian bonuses in this upcoming Territory Wars. In this video, we're going to cover the bugs, how to mod them, and potential teams that will absolutely wreck on defense and offense. Goodol'Maurice, I know you have a long history with the Geonesians. How are you feeling about this Territory Wars bonus?
I'm loving it. A very simple bonus. I think it's going to be great for the faction and great for those people that have invested in the Geonesians for their ships.
The Geonesians get two bonuses. The first is Industry of War. At the start of the battle, Geonesians gain 35% max health and 70% max protection for each other Geonesian ally. When a Geonesian ally uses an ability, they gain Foresight for one turn. So, yeah, super tanky, super duper tanky. They're a very fragile faction, so they really need it, much as the clones do. And then that Foresight is just going to cause a lot of havoc because you're going to need to kill them extremely quickly due to their next ability. Goodol'Maurice, tell us about that.
The second one's Heavy Artillery. You're going to call this Heavy Artillery to destroy a target enemy and another random enemy, which cannot be evaded. It's going to start on a cooldown of 3, and every time a Geonesian uses an ability, it's going to reduce this cooldown by 1. It can't be reduced in the other way, and it's shared across all the Geonesian allies. That's going to get cooled down extremely quickly, especially with the faster Geonesian soldiers and the faster Poggles out there.
Basically, they just, not even all of them have to take a turn, and then the fourth one can use it. That's what it reads like anyway. I mean, like you said, we're gonna have to see this in action, just like we had to see the clones in action to really understand how brutal they are, but this seems really brutal. Goodol'Maurice, let's just talk a little bit about Poggle. The bugs bonuses are based on how many there are on the team, just like clones. A lot of folks have the 3 bugs for ships, but they don't have Poggle geared.
Well, by no means am I endorsing that you guys should gear up a character specifically for bi-monthly TW bonuses, but if you do want to do such a thing, he is arguably the very, very easiest character in the entire game to gear, taking a whopping 50 Carbonies, 50 stun cuffs, the end. No stun guns, very, very, very little gear for him. The top gear required for him is actually a blue piece of gear, the MK5 power cells you get from the challenges. So he's just very, very simple to gear. Well, Poggle's lead, Machine Overlord. Droid and Geonesian allies gain 30% offense. The end. That's all he does for your droid and Geonesians. If you guys want to get out and win this race of heavy artillery, you're going to want to have a lot of speed on Poggle and Geonesian Soldier, and you're also going to want to have potency on Sunfac and on Poggle. Why do you want potency on these two characters? Because if you look at Geonesian Spy's unique, you will gain turn meter every time a Geonesian lands a debuff. Poggle's got the ability block on his basic attack, and then also Sunfac has the crit chance down debuff whenever he counters. So if you can steal an extra turn with Geonesian Spy by landing 2 debuffs, you're going to get that heavy artillery off faster than your opponent.
With regards to how to mod these guys, we're thinking that heavy artillery is going to eclipse any damage that these bugs can do on their own accord. Probably our main concern here is going to be survivability and avoiding debuffs. So just mega protection, trying to avoid health so that exposes aren't as impactful for them, and then as much tenacity as you can pour onto them, and for Soldier in particular, speed is a priority. Alright, so there's 4 bugs, but you need a 5th character. So what are some of the characters that might work here? And you've seen some footage that we've been playing. You're going to see lots of different teams out there, I think. Goodol'Maurice, what are you thinking that the top teams are out there for these guys? Their 5th support character or even a different leader? You know, Poggle's leadership is pretty weak. There's probably a lot better separatist leaders or just general leaders out there that might be better at the helm than Mr. Poggle.
Yeah, Poggle's leadership kind of sucks, but you just mentioned IG-88's. IG-88's lead is going to be very, very good offensively, because what it's going to do is every time your Geonesians crit, they're going to land a dot, which is going to fuel Geonesian Spy's turn meter. You start spreading a lot of crits with your Geonesians, and Spy's just going to go and go and go. And every time he goes, he's going to reduce the cooldown of that heavy artillery. The quicker he's going to get his silent strike up, ready to go, and just one-shots an opponent. A nice budget solution for your team is going to be B1. He was just introduced. Doesn't need any gear. Just use him as you have him. Because, again, this is going to be a race against the clock against Geonosians. And the B1's Droid Battalion, each stack of Droid Battalion is going to give your Separatist allies, all the Geonosians, 0.5% of tenacity and crit avoidance for each stack of Droid Battalion. So instantly at the beginning of the match, your Geonosians are going to have all this health, all this protection. They're going to have 50% tenacity and 50% crit avoidance if you do have that Zeta on the Droid Battalion. It'll be half. It'll be 25 of each if you do not. It's a race against the clock, so this is a character that you could potentially put in on defense, and the match will be so short they won't be able to eliminate your B1, therefore granting him a fresh stack of the Droid Battalion for the next battle. Other options are, of course, the new IG-100. IG-100 on a special, whenever he does his AoE, he will cleanse all of your Separatist allies. Again, the Geonosians are Separatists, and it will provide you an extra tank. He won't get the bonuses health protection-wise, but he does add a little bit of cleanse and protection for your team. You could use General Grievous IG-100 with the trio. You can use General Grievous Droid Battalion with the trio. You could use IG-88 and IG-100, because if you do have that Zeta on 88, IG-100 target locks on his basic attack, therefore it's going to grant healing immunity as well. So that's something to consider if you guys have those kind of interesting roster decisions. Unfortunately, there's no real Separatist synergy with the Geonosians. None of the kits really include anything that apply to all Separatists. How are you going to beat this on defense?
Clones?
Yeah, your Geonosians.
Battle of the Beasts. That's crazy. Well, you mentioned a really good point, and being the TW addict that I am, I really don't want to share this because it's such a good point, but having revivers on your teams going up against these guys is going to be super essential. It doesn't look like they can ignore taunt with heavy artillery, though they do kill one more character, so it will be, probably go in with a couple of taunting tanks, a reviver, and some crazy damage dealers. I don't know, like CLS. I don't know if Ray will take these guys down. It'll really be a race against time, like you're saying, to completely control them. Ray might actually be a good team. A lot of like the Exposed isn't affected by tenacity. Her turn meter reduction isn't affected by tenacity. That sort of thing.
Exposed is actually not a bad strategy at all, because they're going to have such a huge max health pool. Those Exposes are going to be doing absurd amounts of damage. You're going to want turn meter removal to the max, guys. You're going to look for turn meter removal just to slow them down. If they can't take turns, they can't reduce the cooldown of that heavy artillery. Poe comes to mind as a very, very interesting option, especially if they use like a hybrid droid team. You could use like a chopper. He has turn meter removal mechanics and will stun a droid. Don't let him take a turn. Palpatine teams could be relatively useful for things of that nature. Could be very good against this nightmare of a team we're about to see. Third TW.
I can see possibly this requiring Revan with Jolie and like Visas or something like that to kind of just try and take them down. But I don't know, like you can't take Sunfac down, and if Sunfac gets to go 3 times, he'll get you all by himself. That's pretty incredible to take down 400,000 health and protection. How much is it?
Well, if you're using all 4 of them, it's going to be 280% max protection.
Yeah. So you can easily get 80.
Well, there you have it. It remains to be seen, but the Geonosians sure look like the next OP meta that we're going to see in the Territory Wars environment. Thank you so much for joining us. If this is one of the first times to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe and join us on our Discord server, where we have so much wonderful nerdy gaming stuff happening 24 hours a day. Additionally, you can find us on Tuesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we have the Galaxy's Edge live stream, a little show that we put on with the greatest news and teams floating around our great game, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Stabby stab, stab, stabby stab, 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 stabby stab, stab,
Mr. Splinter, may I have some more porridge?